All right, we're coming live. 3 weeks in the book. Double special guests in town. I kind of wish, let me see if I can move people's faces. I want to put Case next to Divitto on the camera. So that way it looks like they're battling each other. I don't know how to do it. Case, Divitto, congrats on your trade. In my opinion, it was very lopsided. I will give you my view of who I thought it was lopsided towards. Steve, let's get your perspective. After quitting the year after 3 weeks, after 3 losses of a combined total of 15 points, an average of 5 points a week for you Algebra 2 natives. Russ Casatli, way to go. Thanks, buddy. Quit on the year after 3 weeks. Your trade with Case, you took a bunch of assets, bunch of young guys, gave away your 2 best players. Why'd you do it?
So I'm not done on the year. So gathering assets. Keenan Allen hurt his ankle today at practice. Thanks for paying attention, Case. Appreciate that, bud. DeAndre Hopkins constantly getting hurt. Pete's getting excited. Watch out.
Those are
already hurting his ribs. Bunch of young guys in Arizona. I just kind of felt like it was time to move on. A couple of guys that are starting to get towards the end of their prime, getting a couple of young receivers, gathering some picks.
Do you feel that whose ankles hurt?
Keenan Allen.
You feel like that
always hurt.
That will never heal. That's a tradable injury. You're done.
No, he's always hurt. Okay. And Mike Williams is emerging right now in San Diego. Probably going to be the number 1 in the next couple of weeks. Great move by you last week too, Pete. So thinking that all those things added up, made a deal.
Can I ask you a question, Steve?
Mike, you can always ask questions. You're the host here. You're Don Lemon. Go ahead.
Thanks. Do you feel like after the trade, you increased or decreased the likelihood that you make the playoffs this year?
So I'm looking big picture here, Mike. I think the 3 of you are by far the cream of the crop in the league right now. Not just because I'm talking to you, to the 3 of you. Yeah. But I do think that there is separation. I think I think the 3 of you guys are clear cut. My team, for whatever reason, did not feel like playing this year and wanted to switch things up. And like I said, I'm not done making moves. I'm still working on a couple of things right now. So
4 teams make the playoffs, though, right? 4 teams make the playoffs. Even if there's 3 teams better than everybody else, there's a 4th spot. And you think you?
Hey, hold on. Hey, sweetheart, we're through 3 games. Let the season happen. I have more than just those 2 players on my roster.
So you think you increased? But no, you
gotta let me talk.
No,
this really is like Don Lemon.
You didn't answer my question.
I'm trying to answer the question. You're talking over me.
Go ahead.
I like the rest of my roster the way it's constructed. I think I have a good core group of young wide receivers. So no, I don't think I am out of it yet. But looking at what I have coming down the road and who I'm going to be playing down the road, it's not exactly something that I'm going to sit on and go for. When I felt like I was going to gather 2 good young wide receivers and a bunch of picks that I could use as assets for other trades.
Okay. So decrease.
Now, Mike, do I think this helped me this year? No, this didn't help me this year. Okay. But again, I also have to look at the fact that I'm 0-3 with a really difficult schedule coming up. So no, I had to make a decision of, am I going to sit on this? No, I didn't think it was the right thing to do at the moment.
That's what she said. Case. Yes, Pete, go, Pete, go.
Why Watson?
So Watson to me is
he's got good ankles, Pete.
Yes, his ankles are healthy. Good point, Mike.
Thanks.
But Watson is a wild card to me. And I do think he's going to come back and play. And I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up in a place like Pittsburgh with an aging Roethlisberger down the road. He's going to get traded. He's going to play. If it doesn't work out, it's a throw-in for me. If it works out, then it's going to be a steal.
Well, your thoughts. Tell me right now.
All right. Deshaun Watson's not going to be a quarterback in the NFL this year or next year.
Right.
He shouldn't be on anybody's roster.
He's going to be on anyone's roster. You could go get Kirk Cousins tomorrow. He's a top 5 quarterback.
Kirk Cousins is on Case's roster.
Perfect. Like something like that. Like you
exactly.
But like
I picked up Joe Burrow. I'd rather have Joe Burrow than Deshaun Watson.
Exactly.
Yeah, listen, that's great. But for me who is not in the top 3 like you guys are, it doesn't make sense for one of you guys to keep him. But for someone like me right now, who's in the bottom feeder of the league, who is not in a great spot to make the playoffs, like I said, with my schedule coming up, I'll sit on him for a little while. If it works out, it does. If it doesn't, it's not going to hurt me. We have a ton of roster spots to hold on to. Matt Stafford is the quarterback of my team. I don't care about who the
I think
backup
he's
quarterback
way
is.
better than Deshaun Watson this year and next year. That's why
I don't disagree with you, but if Deshaun Watson ends up playing, the guy is a difference maker, and Case has seen that on his teams.
Well, he's never really been a difference maker for Case, but Case, you think the trade you just made is your difference maker?
Absolutely, Michael. Just so we're keeping track of updates here. Keenan Allen should be fine. Logged limited reps. He's really slowing down with almost double-digit targets all 3 weeks this year. And I have his quarterback, Justin Herbert, as my start.
I love the stack. I love the stack, Brad. Love the stack.
Yeah. Dollar points. And
So I think you got
by grabbing
annihilated in this trade. I think you got annihilated in this trade.
talking to me,
No, DeVito.
Oh, we know this. The three of you hate this, but that's okay.
I second that.
Hold on. Do we think anyone in the league will like the trade?
No, nobody will.
Christian.
Absolutely nobody.
So I texted Christian about him making a trade. He liked the trade for DeVito.
I did. Nailed it. Casey, you're on fire today.
So I would say that I was really persistent. So I really bothered Steve into this trade. We went back and forth starting in week 2. And then eventually got him to come around on this thing. And if we want to spill all the beans, at one point while Steve was distracted at his son's hockey, he actually proposed a trade to me that had fewer assets than this. And I was a nice enough guy to text him and say, hey, do we have a deal? And that changed everything.
Full disclosure on that one.
Couple more picks thrown in there, and I fleeced him.
Full disclosure.
I dominated. I won the trade. I'm going for it. Buckle up.
You're on the ropes. What's going on here?
No, full disclosure about the hockey.
Steve did not sign up for this, guys. I don't know who told him to join the call.
No. Hold on. I'll take it. First of all, the hockey thing is absolutely true. And I think Case was so shocked when he saw that it was posted. I had no idea that it even posted. I was just looking through something. I look up, Lucas scored a goal, put my phone down, must have hit the button, and there I go. And Case goes, are you sure we're going to make this trade? And I looked, didn't even realize I hit the send button on the trade, looking at stats as I was there. So Case, you are a stand-up guy. I appreciate that. Yeah. And to come back to this, we have been talking since week 2 about Keenan Allen. And I had talked to 2 other owners about DeAndre Hopkins. Mike, you were one of them.
Yep.
We used reading Peppa Pig as the excuse as to why you couldn't respond to my my thing today.
Don't read Peppa Pig.
That's okay. It's all right. Don't worry about it. The point is that I felt I was getting I was never going to get exactly what I wanted to get for both of those guys or one of those guys. What I was going to get from Mike to what I was getting from Case, I was getting at least guys that are number 1 or 2 receivers as opposed to what Mike was offering. And the draft coming up in 22 does not have much in the way of offensive players. 23 is a much better draft. So
this kid
again,
yeah, dude, future DeVito is a genius. We got Deshaun Watson and Deontay Johnson in Pittsburgh next year. Look out, everyone.
DeVito, you got broken ankle syndrome, man. DeVito broke his ankle and now he wants to amputate the leg. He tripped on a step. Now he wants to throw himself down a flight of stairs. It's overreacting.
Was it senior year when we were playing pickup basketball in Case's house and you hurt your ankle right before baseball? Was that senior year or junior year?
Yeah, that was senior year.
That was bad.
It was like, I think it was the weekend before tryouts. That was a lot of fun.
What did you say you did, though? You definitely didn't say you didn't play basketball.
No, we did not say that it was basketball. No, I don't know exactly what we said, but it was not basketball.
It wasn't that. Case, yes, jump on in. Last thoughts to you, Brian. Then we're gonna get to the preview.
Thank you. Now, if I was the host of this show, I would also do my research and say, well, Stevie, you're so worried about Keenan Allen's ankle and DeAndre Hopkins' ribs, then why'd you just trade for T. Higgins, who's sitting out tonight with a shoulder injury, and Deontay, who missed last week with a knee injury? 2 worse injuries than maybe some bruised ribs and a.
But I already know what Steve's going to say. I already know what Steve's going to say.
Go ahead, Mike. What am I going to say?
They're younger assets, and they don't have the history of injuries that Keenan Allen and Hopkins do. And he's selling them high at the end of their prime, and these 2 guys at the beginning of their prime. Steve,
they are younger. They are younger.
To you.
to double down what Mike just said, and Deontay Johnson is practicing in full. He is playing this week. And if Cincinnati were playing on Sunday, they said that Higgins would have played on Sunday. So the injury to him
I
is
thought
not
it was a great trade for both of us, to be honest with you. Don't listen to the rest of this league. They don't all know what they're talking about. I thought it was great.
Hey, listen, I think Christian's take is perfect. Great job, CGD.
Well, I will say, so I texted
that's
him.
the biggest thing going against you.
I texted
Christian
him.
agrees with you.
I'm aware.
Yeah, I texted him to see if he was selling, because I'm like, hey, you selling? He goes, no, not yet. And I was like, hey, what'd you think of the trade? And he goes, loved it for Divitto. And I was like, did you look at the trade? He gave up the 2 best players. And he goes, oh yeah, don't take my opinion. I can't get anything right these days. So there you go, Steve. You get that going for you?
That's all right. We'll see what happens at the end.
All right. Well, that's it. Welcome. Great trade, guys. I love the midweek trade. I love shaking stuff up early in the season. A lot of weeks till the trade deadline. We have like less than 2 months, though. Pete, before we get into the week 4 preview, let's do a first fifth of the season retroactive look. Nerd it out. What are your stats to put into perspective the first 3 weeks of the year?
For this past week, the boom bonus. Mike Kaleli scored 175. That is the 5th highest score this year. Mike Williams was the beast of the week. He had 40 points for Spates. Antonio Gibson had the longest play of the week at 73 yards for Breen, and Christian was the lowest scoring team at 89 points. Lloyd has 84. He was the all-time lowest. The average scoring over the last 3 weeks has dropped from 156 to 137. So if you feel like your team is underperforming, do not feel bad. Everyone is down league-wise. As far as the boom bonus, Mike, we said was the highest, was the 5th highest score this season. The top 5 are me, Casey, me, Andy, and Mike. Those are all wins. The bottom 5 are Divitto, Casey, Innes, Darian, and Larkin. Those are all losses. Of the best performances and worst performances of the years, the ones that the ones of the top 30 that I thought stood out the most were that CJ has the absolute worst win of the year. He has a 107-point victory over Divitto. That was a 1-point win over Divitto in week 2. I thought that's the lowest win out of the entire group. On the contrary, Lloyd has the worst loss, putting up 160 points against Divitto, who scored 190 that week.
Was that week 1 for Lloyd?
That was week 1.
Wow, man! Welcome to the league. You like show up a good week and you get slapped around by Divitto.
Oh, the only manager that's in all 3 tiers is Brian Casey. He had a top 10 performance, a bottom 10 performance, and a middle 10 performance in there. And Mike and I have 16 of the top 15 performances. That is the most out of the entire group. All 3 of our performances are in the top 15. Casey and Innes each have 2.
Pete, great analytics.
Thank you. Very interesting stuff.
So what do you think the pattern of league scores diminishing? What do you think is behind that? I have a theory.
Well, it has gone down by 20 points. The average score has gone down 20 points over the last 3 weeks. So it is down. Our league in particular has I can't really pinpoint why. Actually, truthfully, I don't really have a good guess. Do you?
Yeah, I think it's because
I was gonna guess, and I was like, I don't have a good answer.
I think it's because the preseason shortened, and the defenses didn't have as much time as they did before to like really run their game plans, and it's easier for the offense to play. And I think I'll be curious now over the next 3 weeks if it flattens where we were or if it gets back up to. I do feel like 135 around the numbers. I feel like that's lower than it should be.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take.
When I was doing the numbers for the matchups and looking at the past 5 years of all the matchups, the average scoring over those weeks is around 130 to 150. So,
wow.
And our average score this week for the 10 teams is 145. So if you have an average score of 145, that's,
it feels like if you could build a cone of expectations, that's right in the middle of the cone. So
yeah, but
all right.
Our scoring on average is a tick higher than it has been over the last 5 years, and that's because of the PR and whatever.
Man,
Sorry,
Pete, the analytics you're throwing tonight, man, really on your game. I really appreciate it.
I'm a retired sports information director. You guys know how that is.
Yeah, we all know. We get it. All right, let's get to week 4, team. We've got 5 games on the horizon. We've got a game of the week. Case, a lot of 2-1 teams, a lot of 1-2 teams, some 0-3 teams, some 3-0 teams. Let's get to the preview. We have some special guests doing some picks for us this week. Each matchup, we will start with our very own Pete DeLuca, stat extraordinaire, giving us a preview of the historical stats of the game. First one, The team that is trying their best to win this season, they've done it 3 times in a row, and the team that just admitted that they're not trying to win this season at 0-3 and still only losing their 3 games by an average of 5 points. Game number 1, the chosen ones take on the Bungles, 3-0 versus 0-3. Pete, what do you got?
So I look at the last 5 years and I look at regular season games only. Okay. So in the last 5 years, Steve and Mike have played each other 6 times. That is the fewest among any 2 opponents of the week, right? Steve is 4-2 in those games.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like DeVito's have my number.
Mike, you've won the last 2, including a 245-point performance in week 7 of 22. That was the all-time performance. That's the all-time highest since the boom bonus. So that's the game. Steve's 4 wins are by an average of 45 points. Mike's 2 wins were by 84 points, but you had 1 win by the 119. So Steve's owned you. There's karma in there, though. Week 18 or 2018, week 7, Steve won by less than a point. You guys were 107 point something to 107 point something, and Steve won that one. Since then, Kaleli, you've destroyed him and you blew him out the last time. So I'm picking Mike and I'm calling it my lock of the week.
I would have guessed Steve has beat me. I've always had a hard time with DeVito's teams. I don't know what it is about them.
4-2. DeVito.
4-2. No, I feel like I remember that game for some reason, Steve. There was some silly thing that happened at the end. You ended up winning. But let's go to Case. Case, your analysis of the game, your pick, and then we'll get to DeVito and I'll close it out.
Mike, happy to do my part to lighten the load for you this week in your matchup. So I'm picking the chosen ones. If there is a week to start Zach Moss, it might be this one, but in a losing effort, I'm going with chosen ones.
Want me to go now, Mike?
Go ahead, Steve.
All right. Wait for your call on me. So again, just to reiterate, I'm not attempting to lose. Don't put words in my mouth, but thank you. But taking a look at the matchup this week, it is a difficult matchup for me to win. I'm going to take Mike.
So I said in the beginning of the week, DeVito was my upset pick of the week on Tuesday. That was before he traded his 2 best players. I don't love my matchups this week. I actually would prefer not to pick myself, but there's a couple guys on Steve's team I just don't trust yet, and you have a couple tough matchups. I'm not going to call it the lock of the week. I don't think I'm the boom scorer of the week, but I'll take myself just because I've called DeVito a quitter like 6 times on this podcast, and it would be weird if I didn't pick myself after I called DeVito a quitter 6 times. So a clean sweep, chosen ones predicted 4 times to 0 for the Bungles.
Yes, he really had your number. Looking at the stats, if you didn't put up that all-time great performance at one time, it really is tilted heavily in his favor.
Heavily.
So it's very
I agree. He has my number. DeVito's had my number.
Crazy.
I picked you, but I'm looking forward to texting you on Monday with a win. So
me?
Keep going.
Who plays? You know me. I'm always a big Monday night guy. Who plays Monday night?
First win of the season for DeVito.
Chargers Vegas.
Oh man, I gotta watch Darren Waller on Monday night get like 46 targets.
Loves Vegas.
Oh, that'll be fun. All right, second game we want to preview. This is an important one. 2 1-2 teams. You don't want to start 1-3. Interestingly enough, one of the guys in this game had some players on the field this evening, but we've got the Big Grigs at 1-2, the Blue Bloods at 1-2. A battle to change the trajectory of your season. Pete, lead us off. Give us some statistics. DeVito and Spates.
In the last 5 years, CJ and Andy have played each other 10 times. That is twice a season every time. So that is a lot. Andy is 6-4 during that time, but Spates has won 2 of the last 3. Andy did have a 5-1 streak before that. CJ's 4 wins were by an average of 19 points. Andy's 6 wins were by an average of 27 points. Both teams are 1-2 and really need it. I like Diggs, Ridley, and Swift this week. I don't think it will be easy. I'm going to pick Andy, but I don't like it.
Case, to you.
Yeah. I think looking at who Andy's got, I hate the Jalen Reagor play. I don't like the Will Fuller play.
Ooh, I like Reagor. You don't like him? Why not?
No, I don't. He doesn't do anything. He never does. Yeah, he never does.
He did something this week. Like I feel like this week.
But the fact that, and again, we get insight here. The fact that CJ left Robinson on his bench with 22 points, like if it's going to be close, that's the reason why he loses. Because I think, as Pete just mentioned, like Andy's top players, I think are going to carry him this week in a close separator type matchup. So I'm taking the Blue Bloods.
Okay, Case, great analysis. Steve, to you. Blue Bloods, Griggs.
So I understand what you're saying, Case, about Rieger, but I don't know who else he plays.
Exactly.
That's the problem right now with his lineup. I don't know. I mean, maybe Hines, if you're looking to get someone that might get some touches. Jacobs is questionable. Don't know if he's going to play. Shepard's probably out. So for Andy, I think it's.
Who is this guy? Who are these people?
I would play Hines. They just they're
Malcolm,
the other dude.
Malcolm
I would
Brown.
play Hines.
Yo, did you guys see he spent $40 on Gordon?
He was the right pick. When you sent the text to the league, he was the right guy who was going to spend. I don't feel like DeVito spent any of his fab last year. To spend $40 on a guy who probably isn't going to play for a couple weeks is classic DeVito.
Practice squad guy.
So coming into this, taking a look at these two, I don't love Andy's matchups. I actually think Ridley against Washington's a tough matchup. I think Chicago is going to bounce back this week. Swift is a tough matchup too. I hate Fuller. I don't think he has anything, especially with Brissett at quarterback. But if you look at CJ's roster, I don't see how CJ overcomes, like what Case just said, with leaving Robinson on the bench there. He has tough matchups. Fournette, Corey Davis. Why is Corey Davis in the starting lineup? Why is there any Jets wide receiver in the starting lineup right now? I'm taking the Blue Bloods.
Wow. All right, I'm calling mine right here. This is my shot. Upset of the week.
Wow.
I'm taking the Griggs. I played against Spates last week. He's got a couple guys in his roster that are scarier than you think. I'm going to say his name wrong again, Pete. Chuba or Chuba?
It's like tuba, like the instrument.
Chuba.
I love the Chuba start. I love the Mike Williams start. And then, Pete, you and I talked about this last week. I'm sure we'll get to this in your game. I love Tampa Bay guys this week. I think they go crazy. I'm taking Spates in an upset. I think Spates goes to 2-2 after this game. That's my upset of the week. So 3 for DeVito, 1 for Spates over here. All right.
Trying to make us some bad blood between you and CJ, Mike.
The lone wolf.
No bad blood between Spates and I. Speak open and objectively about my opinions.
You're like Mariucci.
You're the lone wolf. Come on, watch Game Day Morning, Mike.
Really, watch a pregame show.
I don't watch any pregame. I do my own pregame shows with you, Pete. Come on, you know we have breakfast together on Sundays.
Got a baby.
All right, next game of the week. This is a big one. If Dadarian was showing up for the season, this potentially could be the game of the week. You've got Brian Casey at 2-1, new look jumbos, taking on the Killer Bees. Will Brian Casey be the sting that extinguishes the Killer Bees, or will he get stung by an almost dead wasp? Pete, statistics to you.
In the last 5 years, Brian and Christian have played each other 7 times. Christian owns a 4-3 mark. That doesn't sound very good, but Christian has won 4 out of the last 5. Casey's 3 wins were by an average of only 1 point. Christian's 4 wins were by an average of 35 points. I want to pick Christian. I want to make him my upset, but the kid burns me every single week. I really don't like the situations of a lot of the players on his teams, including the Bears players. Cooper, I'm not really fond of. Woods, I don't really like at all. For Casey, I think Herbert's legit. He pounded me last week, and I watched those points tick up. I don't like the bottom of his roster, but I'm still going to pick Casey.
DeVito, we'll go to you next. Case, I'm going to finish with you on this one. So, DeVito, you're up, then I'll go, and then Case will finish with you in your own game. Steve, Case, Dadarian, who you got?
You know, taking a look at this, I actually think that Christian has some really, really good matchups.
Ooh.
So, you know, I think what it is I'm looking at here. I got an upset alert. I got Christian here upsetting Case. That is my upset alert.
Wait, what music did you just play?
Oh, that was a Despicable Me one right there, my man. That was the alarm.
Oh, man, I hope there's not licensing problems with that. Oh, man, DeVito, well played, buddy.
I love Alvin Kamara this week against the Giants. I think Montgomery against Detroit is going to go off. And I love Robert Woods finally showing up against Arizona this week. I think Hopkins against the Rams is going to be a tough match with Ramsey. And I'm not loving the idea of Aaron Jones against Pittsburgh. So there's my upset alert of the week. But Case, what do you got, bub?
Sound of the Despicable Me.
Wow. I love DeVito. Love the analysis. Love the music. Love the upset pick.
That's when I thought.
Just when I thought you were going to get dragged through the mud again. Yeah, I'm with you. Good recovery, Steve. I am picking my boom high point scorer of the week, Brian Casey, over to Darren.
Okay.
That's my analysis. Case, How big are you going to beat Mustard Boy?
I think there's a little bit of vengeance in DeVito there at that pick. I don't think he really believes. I don't think he believes anything you just said. Doesn't believe anything. I will say this: when you make a unbelievable pantsing of a trade that I just made, you got to get back on the practice field and get back in that tunnel vision and keep your eye on the prize. And that's what we're doing this week. Although I would say this: if I didn't make the trade I just made, I probably would have said this is where Christian gets his first win, because I think the Titans blow out the Jets and Henry doesn't get as many points. Ezekiel going against Carolina's front. I had to play Moss. I was playing Deontay after a bad week, but I'm reloaded. I think it might be closer than we think, but I think I still take myself.
Was that a Lee Corso move there? Closer than the experts think?
I take myself.
Thanks for making a lot of my points for me there, Case. I appreciate it. Bud.
You keep pulling in a lot of these like random views that I don't watch in these shows. Who's Lee Corso?
You know who Lee Corso is?
I know.
Again, watch a pregame show.
I know Lee Corso is. All right, second to last matchup of the week. We got the Orchids of Asia going against the guy who really could enjoy the Orchids of Asia and Kevin Breen. Lloyd, Breen, a battle of a delegitimate 3-0 against the guy who really could be 2-1, but is 1-2, Dan Larkin. Lloyd, Breen, DeLuca. Let's hear those stats.
This is another one. I'm going to obviously call him Ross. So the two of them, Ross and Breen, they played each other 10 times. Breen is 7-3 over that period. Ross randomly won 2 of the last 3 games against Breen, but Breen won 6 out of the last 7 before that. Breen's 7 wins were by an average of 55 points. That's the largest margin of victory of any 2 people this week. That was largely due to a 133-35 loss in week 3 of 2016. Wow. I have no idea what happened there. Ross's 3 wins were only by an average of 7 points. So Breen owns Ross, but he's not playing Ross. And Lloyd can put up some points. And I know that, Mike and I have both said that we're believers of him. Breen only averages 138 points in a league where everyone averages 145. Lloyd can put up some points. He averages 125, but he had a bad week. And if you take that one bad week out, he averages 146. So he's above the league average if you take out that stinker. So I'm going to pick Lloyd. I'm going to make him my upset of the week.
Oh, I thought you were going to say lock of the week. Love the style there. Steve DeVito, Lloyd or Breen. Give us your thoughts.
So this is a little bit of cheating, but considering Lloyd is already posting a goose egg for the week.
Ooh, I didn't take that into consideration.
With Chark. The Big Red Machine is my lock of the week.
Lock of the week.
I think that's cheating.
It's cheating.
And cheating, whatever you want to call it.
Character you have, Steve, reflects your type of character.
You didn't put any music on though for the lock of the week, Steve. I'm a little disappointed. I like the music for upset of the week. Case.
It's got to be a jail cell.
It's not as good. I feel like something. Kaboom.
Yeah.
Lock of the week. Case.
Judge Judy Gavel.
I got to be more prepared for that.
That's okay. There's one more game, Steve. I expect some sort of sound effect when you preview the game of the week coming up. Case, who you got? Lloyd or Breen?
If we made this pick 3 hours ago, I'd probably take Lloyd, but I'm taking Breen with Shark with a 0 and Chase not getting to his point total. I'm taking Breen.
Well, that's not fair. I didn't take that into consideration. This is kind of lame.
So I'm a big Lloyd guy, and I think so. I've been talking a lot about Breen as a regression to the mean candidate, and there's a piece of it where he's regression to the mean and he should have lost a game, but he's 3-0 and his average point total is below the league average. I considered making Breen my boom pick of the week. I think there's a big Mahomes week coming. So Breen was my pick before the DJ Chark injury, and I think Breen finishes in the top 3 in points this week. There's no sound effect or thing he gets for that, but I'll take Breen for myself. You're a what?
Why the horn?
I don't know. Sound effect for him. That's all I can make.
You can tell he's the first time, or it's the second time.
Steve, you got to show him the right way to do this. Yeah, you got to show him the right way to do this, DeVito. Last game of the week, everyone. This is our game of the week, the battle of 2-1s, the supremacy for mediocrity. Will it be Pete DeLuca in the Orange Crush or Jerry Jones falling back to the record that he should be, which is what the Cowboys have been for the last decade, a measly 500? Jerry Jones versus Pete DeLuca. Pete, status away.
In the last 5 years, Jeff and I have played each other 10 times. That's another matchup of 2 teams that have played each other twice every year. I'm 7-3 in those games. That includes winning 3 out of the last 4. In my 7 wins, I've outscored Jeff by an average of 26 points. Jeff's 3 wins against me have been by an average of 19 points. I hate Dak Prescott. I hate most of Jeff's team. I think my team is going to explode. I don't think I'm going to score 226. I don't think I'm going to score 245. I think I'm going to go for the all-time score this week. Mark me down. I'm picking myself to boom, and I'm picking myself to boom all-time boom.
Did you just predict that you'd score the most points in the league?
In the history of the league. I'm ready. You look at that lineup and get ready.
Thanks, Pete. Case, your thoughts?
First of all, it's not the highest score in the league history. It's just the highest score in boom history. And boom history, I'm going to take you down.
Sure. Go ahead, Case.
How do you follow that?
No. Good luck.
I love Brady. I'm wearing the hat. I love Godwin this week. I love Jefferson this week. I think that one's going to be high scoring. Kupp obviously takes all the targets. Prescott against Carolina, bad matchup. CeeDee Lamb suffers because of it. Pittsburgh can't get it going. Even at Green Bay, they won't. I'm going with Pete as my lock of the week.
Whoa.
Case, I'm doubling down. I'm locking in with you. Pete, my lock of the week. I don't think Pete's going to score 200 points, but I don't like Jeff's matchups at all. It is a classic Jerry Jones. Riding the coattails of 2011. His team's mediocre. He's coming back to earth. DeLuca, lock of the week. Divitto, end us off. Week 4, final game preview. If you don't throw a sound effect in here, right, Steve? Right now,
we're ready. If you're going to let me talk.
Good.
Stop
Go.
talking.
Ready.
Divitto, thin ice.
Why did this not friggin' work?
Dude, you can't do that. Come on, man.
Come on.
Can you hear the thing?
Man.
Can you hear it? You didn't hear it?
No.
It's the FX boom. It's my boom of the week. I got Pete in the boom of the week. He is the boom high scorer this week. Not even going to be close. This is a blowout.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All time.
Look at the match. Hold on. First,
right?
let's not get carried away, Pete. But looking at your matchups, this isn't close. The only guy on your team that I'm remotely worried about is Lockett because of his injury. Other than that, there is everyone on your team I could see going off this week.
Thank you. And if Lockett goes down, I got backups. So
Lockett goes down. DJ Metcalf is coming after Mike Colelli.
So, Case, you know what DeVito just said. DeVito is predicting that DeLuca will be playing the Brian Casey role this week, and Jerry Jones will be playing the Steve DeVito role this week in your trade that happened earlier today. That's what I got from that.
That's adorable, Michael. Good attempt.
I think
Good
there was some subliminal message there, Mike, where he basically said, "Hey, Pete, come talk to me about taking my next best players from me."
No.
Hey, when Lockett gets hurt, because I know about injuries, you come talk to me.
Case is predicting a DJ Metcalf trade to Pete DeLuca before the weekend's out.
It's like making a trade with Jody White over here.
Ah, man. Stephon Bell, you have excellent insights on the injuries. It's really the way to go. Yeah. All right, guys, we did it. It's 11:30, Thursday night. Bengals just won. I don't know how the Bengals just won that game. Awful.
Because the Jaguars are pitiful.
Urban Meyer's awful.
Yeah.
Do you think he's a coach in the NFL next year, or is he in USC?
He's going to go the Nick Saban route.
I think he's going back to college.
Yeah.
Made for college.
All right.
I think he should just retire.
He looks so awkward. Watch him on that 109-yard return play. They cut to Urban Meyer and he's trying to celebrate and 3 guys run him over. He can't even celebrate with his team correctly. Urban.
When he's on the sideline, he tries to pull the old college thing where he just takes his headphones off and puts around his neck. Like, my players are better than everybody else. I don't have to worry about coaching. Like, you can't do that anymore.
Right, can't do that.
You actually have to coach guys. You know.
Yeah.
He also forgets he's coaching the Jacksonville Jaguars right now.
Yeah. He forgets he has a cord too. He's very hung up on the cord. Next time watch, it's a fight between like the other team and the cord. He's fighting 2 battles every game.
All right. On that note, aren't we all fighting the cord in the other team, Pete? That's like a note on life. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Great to have guests on our week. I'll give you all the floor. Last words on the trade on the week. Steve, Brian, either one of you.
Pantsed.
Oh, good God. I'll start this. I'll end this on a high note. highest score in league history. Get ready for it. If you're going to remember one thing from episode 10, Steve DeVito joins the podcast.
This is the 10th episode?
It's our 10th episode. That's got to be like an event.
Yeah,
we should have had sound effects for it.
Do you guys even read the I put all descriptions in there? I try to
read the descriptions.
Pete, you do a great job.
You do a great job, Pete.
Thank you.
Hey, big fan of the show.
And see Brian Casey's IP address just on constant repeat on the podcast. So I know that we got one
tonight. Big night, big listen night tonight. Don't worry.
Like I said, I was all excited. First time, long time. Thanks for having me in there, guys.
Hey, thanks for coming, guys. Great to have you on. Good luck in week 4, everyone. We'll see you next week.
All right, sounds good. See you guys.